Hey folks, welcome back to another review with yours truly, Sam Healey. Today we're taking a look at this little fella right here, Trash Pandas. This is a game for 2 to 4 players. It's kind of a set collection game, but it also has a pretty thick push your luck mechanism and a take that mechanism as well. It's a very light-hearted game, however. It takes about maybe 20-30 minutes to play at most, and it is pretty fun, but let me go ahead and get down to the table. I'll show you how it plays, and then we'll come back with some final thoughts in just a few moments. So here I have set up for you a 4-player game of Trash Pandas. Now, Trash Pandas is a 2 to 4 player card game where you are going to be trying to collect different kinds of sets of cards to have the most of certain kinds of cards because they will score you the most points. In the deck, there are a number of different things. For example, there are nanners. Nanners here is, this is the, of course, pictorial representation, has a special effect that you can use during the course of the game, but if you stash this during the game, you can score possibly 7 points if you have the most. This number in parentheses right here is the number of this kind of card that is in the deck. So you have nanners, you also have defensive cards like Doggo here where you can block a steal attempt, and there are 3 of these in the deck. There are also other kinds of cards that are going to score you points at the end of the game, and again, the anatomy of the card is such that at the bottom of the card is the special ability. These different metal amounts and values here are how many points they will score you at the end of the game. So you get 3 points for having the most shinies. There's only 3 of them in the deck though, but you don't have any points awarded for second or third place. Same thing with the nanners. However, the Yum Yum here can force a player to continue rolling the die, which we'll get to in just a few moments. Or if you stash it during the course of the game, you could possibly get up to 4 points, possibly 2 if you have the second most, and so forth and so on. Blamos are worth 1 point at the end of the game, but during the game you can play them out of your hand to re-roll your last die roll. Kite is if a player tries to steal from you, you steal from them instead. So a pretty nasty card. There's only 2 of those in the deck though. More Blamo, pie. So this one has points awarded for first, second, and third place. There's only 9 of them in the deck though, and you can resolve a token twice. So these are all different kinds of cards that are in the game. You are simply trying to score the most points by collecting those different sets and stashing them down below. But during the course of your turn, all you're going to do is roll this die. And you're going to roll the die, and you can take that token and put it in front of you. Now you have the choice of either continuing to roll or stopping and resolving this token. The thing is that if you roll again and you get the same thing that you got already, then you bust, you draw a card off the top of the deck, and you're done. But if we roll this, we can continue adding these tokens to our pile. Okay, I rolled the recycle more than once. Let's see here. I'm going to go ahead and play a Blamo card so that I can re-roll that last die and hopefully not get the same thing. Okay, I did get the same thing, so I don't resolve either of these tokens. I draw a card from the deck and my turn is over. Now, why would you want to resolve these things? Well, it's pretty simple. If you draw these 2 trash cans, if you roll this and you activate this token without having busted, then you're going to be able to draw 2 cards from the deck. This one here will let you either draw 1 card from the deck or stash a card in your tree. This one here allows you to stash 2 cards, up to 2 cards. This one here allows you to steal a card from another player's hand. This one right here, the burglar mask or whatever you want to call it, you can draw 1 card off the deck and you show it to everybody. Then, if possible, everybody has the chance to stash that card. And for every person that stashes a card, you get to draw 1 off the top of the deck. So if 2 people stash a card, which they wouldn't with Doggo, but let's say that it was nanners. And if 2 people stashed nanners face up, then you'd be able to draw 2 cards off the deck. Finally, this one right here is a wild. You can use this token to act as any of the other tokens that are out there. So the next person is ready for their roll. So they're going to go ahead and roll here. They get the recycle, and then to stash 2 cards. Let's see. Yeah, that wouldn't be a bad idea. Let's go one more roll though. Okay, and a steal. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose to stop rolling the die. I'm not going to push my luck anymore. So now what I get to do here is I can activate these in any order that I would like to. So I'm going to stash, let's see here, I'm going to stash these 2 cards face down. So these 2 cards are part of my stash, and they will count as points for me at the end of the game, possibly. So that is this token. Then I'm going to steal a card from somebody else. So let's just say I steal this card here, and I add it to my hand. And then I am going to use this one as a draw 2 from the deck, and that will be the end of my turn. So now this person takes their hand up, and we've got a couple blamos, a fiche, which allows you to take a card from the discard pile, and the nanners. Okay, that's not bad. All right, so here we go. We're going to roll, and I get this token. And I'm going to roll again, and I can stash 2 as well. Let's go ahead and roll one more time. Oh, let's play a blamo so that we can re-roll that. And let's count that as being finished. All right, so at this point, I can draw 2 cards. I can stash 2 cards, which, let's go ahead and stash this fiche and the nanners. So that one's done. This one allows me to draw another one or stash another one. I don't want to do that. I'll just draw one, which gives me another shiny. Wow, 2 out of the 3. So that means I know I'm going to have the most at the end of the game if I'm able to stash these 2 and nobody steals them from me. And then I'll activate this one and draw 2 more. And that will be the end of my turn. And so finally we come over here and I'm going to take these up in our hand. Okay, nanners, pie. Ooh, 2 nanners and 2 pies. Okay, and a blamo. All right, so we roll the die. We can stash 2. We'll roll the die again. Oh, man. All right, let's play the blamo. All right. Ooh, let's try one more time. Okay, I'm going to play a nanners. The nanners says ignore your last roll and choose to stop. So I'm going to ignore this last roll and choose to stop. So this is what I have. I can stash 2, so I'm going to stash the 2 pies like this, and then I'll draw 1 off the top for that action there. All right, so this is my stash pile, and this is my hand. And that's how the game continues until this entire deck is run out. At that point, any cards that we have left in our hands are discarded because they don't do any good, and players will reveal their stash piles. Then we will count, let's say that this is the stash pile over here, and this is my stash pile over here, so forth. Let's see, fiche, nanners, and that was a hand over here. So these are the different stash piles that are out there, just to give you an idea. So we have 2 pies over here, and that is the most. So this player will be awarded 6 points. Then you have 2 fiche over here, and that's the most as well. So they will be awarded 5 points. The pies over here do have values for second place. So we have one person who has second place. So this person is awarded 2 points for this card and 5 points for this. So their total would be 7. Over here, we have 1 nanners and 1 nanners here. That's a tie. So what's going to happen here is that each person will be awarded that many points minus 1. So both of these players get 6 points for having been tied for the most nanners. The fiche over here is tied over here with these 2 for second place. So they're going to get 2 points each. So this person scored 8 points and this person scored 8 points as well. And following that, whoever has the most points is the winner. Now, as far as some pros and cons are concerned, we'll start with the pros first. I really enjoyed the push your luck mechanism in this game. I usually don't, because usually when you have mechanisms like this, you usually bust and you don't get anything. But there is the caveat that you get a card out of the deal if you bust. So I like that they provided that kind of concession prize or something like that, because it makes busting a little less painful. Don't get me wrong though, someone who is able to, let's say, activate 4 of those tiles, wow, that's a huge thing compared to just getting a card. So there is still that push your luck mechanism, and it still is very tense, but it's not as punishing, I guess you could say, as other push your luck mechanisms have been in the past with similar weight games. The artwork is very interesting, I guess you could say. It's not probably my favorite, however, it is still good enough for me to consider it a pro of the game. I think it fits very well into the whole trash can diving adventures that these Trash Pandas have. So it's kind of dirty, it's kind of nasty in some cases, because the bananas have fungus growing out of them. You are diving for a half-eaten piece of pizza. So that's what I mean by nasty and disgusting. But it's still fun, and it's lighthearted, and I liked the style of the artwork. It just kind of led into that very lighthearted, fun card game feel that this definitely carries with it. I also liked the mechanism of the cards having dual purposes. You can keep them and stash them and use them as a set collection mechanic to score points at the end of the game. Or if you're in a spot, you can use the special ability on the cards. I like that a lot. I like the fact that there are 2 kinds of defensive cards. There's just the doggo, where you have just a straight up defense where no, you don't get to steal from me. Or you have kete, which allows you to actually steal from that person that is trying to steal from you. And then if they have a doggo or another kete, they can play that back against you as you try to get them for trying to steal from you. So there's a lot of fun tension in the game that I've come to expect from a company like Gamewright. The components of the game are all well and good as well. The cards are a generous stock of paper, and I don't think they will wear out too quickly over time. But the die is, while it's a little angular for my tastes, I like rounded dice a little bit more. It is a good component. It is a quality piece of component for the game. And then the tiles are all quality discs, wooden discs as well. So I don't think that you'll be disappointed with the level of quality that the components have at all. Now, as far as cons for the game are concerned, it does, of course, suffer from that dice rolling aspect that all dice rolling games suffer from, and it can feel like fate is just out to get you sometimes, because you keep busting while the other person continually is able to get 4 tiles activated every single turn. At least it seems that way, right? So I get the idea that some people may be very turned off with this because there's a lot of strikes going against it as far as they might be concerned. The random nature of the dice rolling, the take that nature of some of the cards that are in there, and the busting aspect of pushing your luck and all of that kind of stuff. People sometimes don't enjoy those mechanisms. They aren't what they enjoy in games. So I get that. However, I think it was a great idea. But I did feel the sting, so to speak, of having other people seemingly rolling better than I am. Now, I know that's not an actual factuality, because you can't roll better than somebody else. It just seems like you can. And of course, this game has that. And so there's a tinge of that in there, but I had enough fun with the game to where it's a very minor con, and I still really enjoyed playing Trash Pandas. So with all that having been said, I'm going to go ahead and give Trash Pandas a very strong 7 out of 10 and give it my seal of approval, because while it isn't the kind of game that I would normally gravitate towards, this is the kind of filler game that I do enjoy. I like that there's dice rolling. I like that there are different abilities abilities that each card has, and you have to make that decision of whether or not I'm going to keep it for the points later on, or I'm going to go ahead and use it right now to get myself out of that pickle. I like that. The take that nature of the game is while it's there, it doesn't strike me as being over punishing. So that I kind of gave a pass to as well, because I usually don't like take that games either, but it was fine with this one. The theme is what really reached out and grabbed me, and I was not disappointed. When you think about the whole idea of Trash Panda, yes, they're annoying, they're digging through your garbage, they're usually leaving a mess and all of that kind of stuff, but when you look at it with the idea of it being a Trash Panda, it looks like you are just having a fun adventure when you're putting yourself into the shoes, so to speak, or the feet of these raccoons that are rummaging through your trash cans. So it was a fun, lighthearted game, 7 out of 10. I enjoyed it a lot. So that's it from me for Trash Pandas. We'll see you guys and gals on the flip side.